morning students. Today we will discuss the next chapter, that is the food fortification and food enrichment. First of all, you will see what is meant by the food. So food is that commodity that nourishes our body for the gaining of energy to carry out daily work. So from the food we get the different nutrients, that is the macronutrients and micronutrients. Macronutrients consist of carbohydrates, proteins, fats, and the micronutrients consist of vitamins and minerals. So these two nutrients should be present in our diet at balanced quantity. That's why its diet is called as balanced diet. If there is less proportion of these nutrients in our diet, we call it as malnutrition. If the nutrients are excess, it is called as overnutrients. If the nutrients are less, it is called as undernutrients. We are well known that the 1/3 of population of our world is suffering from the malnutrition problem. Means they are not getting the proper nutrients in their diet, so that they are facing their challenges for the gaining of the proper nutrition in their diet. And also the different age group require the different nutrients. For example, children, adults, pregnant women, they are not gaining the proper nutrients through their different phases, so they are feeling the weakness, illness and other problems. So food fortification means those nutrients which are not gained by these targeted groups. So we are adding the nutrients externally so that their diet should be in the balanced proportion. So what is meant by food fortification? It is nothing but the process of addition of the nutrients into the food, that is the vitamins and minerals which are not present in the food, that is called it as food fortification. Second terminology is that food enrichment. So what is in the enrichment? It is the addition of vitamins and nutrients in the foods which are lost during the processing. So there is difference between the food fortification and enrichment. Fortification means what? The nutrients, micronutrients, especially vitamins and minerals, they are not present in the foods. We are adding externally in the food. And enrichment means nutrients, they are present already in the food, but they are lost due to some processing techniques. So that is the difference between food fortification and enrichment. Why there is need of food fortification? We have seen in the world there is malnutrition problems, different targeted groups, they are not getting the nutrients. So that's why we need the large or mass fortification of the foods. In the world, most of the food product consumed are the milk, wheat flours and other foods. So we can fortify them easily. So if we are also having the history that we are using the fortified foods in our diet. The best example is that addition or fortification of iodine in our salt. So we are consuming the fortified iodized salt so that there will be the less chances of problem occurring, that is the thyroid problems. Next we will see what are the general principles of the food fortification. So the Food and Agriculture Organization, which is having the headquarters in the Rome, Italy, that has given some principles during the addition of the fortification of the food. The nutrients which are added as a fortified, it should be the present at low cost. Second advanced principle is it should be present at more quantity, means availability should be more. It should not contact with the nutrient in which we are adding. Again, it should have good storage capability. Again, it should not produce any hazardous health effect in our health. Again, it should be accepted by the mass population. So that are the principles of foods which are to be fortified. Next point is what are the advantages of the foods which are going to be fortified. The nutrients which are fortified, they can be fortified in the different forms. The first form is the dry mix. Second form is that they can be added in the liquid form. They can be added in the spray form. In the dry mix form, we are adding the different folic acid, B complex vitamins to the wheat flour. In the liquid form, we are adding the iron, vitamin in the milk. In the spray form, we are adding on the corn flakes or maize flakes. So there are advantage of fortified nutrients, means that can be added in the different forms. Now next see what are the types of food fortification. So there are basically three types. First one is the mass fortification, second one is the universal fortification, third one is the target fortification. First see the mass fortification. Mass fortification means the food that is consumed by the majority of the people. The best example is the addition of the vitamin B, folic acid, iron, etc. into the wheat flour, or what you call it as atta. Second one is the universal fortification means the food which is consumed by the people as well as animal. And the best example is the iodized salt. Third one is the target fortification, means we are adding the nutrients, especially vitamins and minerals, depending or focusing the target. Either they are children's, either they are pregnant women, either they are sports person, or either they are geriatric person, means either they are old persons. So depending on that, we are fortifying the food. Now we can fortify the food on the basis of type of food, that is the conventional food, homemade food, or biofortification. The fortification carried out in the conventional food like wheat, flour, milk, called as conventional fortification. Homemade fortification, we can add the droplets of vitamin in our milk in the home, that is called as home fortification. And the third one is the biofortification, means we are changing the genes in the plant, or we are adding the nutrients, micronutrients into the variety of that plants by the modification. That modification we call it as transgenic modification, or that plant or variety called as genetically modified variety. Through that we can carry out the biofortification of that food. Second is the how these biofortified or fortified foods they are regulated. So this regulation in India carried out by the Food Safety and Standard Act. So they have given the certain guidelines, that what are the guidelines, how the fortification should be carried out, what are the foods to be fortified, what should be the limits, etc. So they have given the certain guidelines. Now next point is the how much quantity should we add the micronutrients in our diet. For example, you are consuming the iodized salt in your diet. So do you know that how much quantity of iodine is added in your salt? About 30 ppm of iodine is added in your salt. ppm means parts per million. And in that salt also the ferrous, or what you call as iron, is added at a quantity 100 ppm. Second most commonly fortified food is wheat flour, what you call it as atta. In that we are adding the ferrous 20 mg per kg of that food. So likewise different vitamins and minerals they are added in the food depending upon their limit or their quantity, which is decided by the Food Safety and Standard Act. Next, what are the initiatives taken by the government for the fortified food, or different scheme through which fortified food is present to the vulnerable groups. Vulnerable groups means what? The groups which are not getting the proper nutrients in their diet, so that they can fulfill their requirement of the nutrients in their diet. So government is performing different schemes like ICDS, Integrated Child Development Scheme, Midday Meal Program, that is the MDMP. Next, third one is the RTA, Ready to Eat Food Products, and second is the Targeted Public Distribution System. हम कहते हैं राशन, किराना जो राशन हम गेहूँ, जवारी, चावल जो फूड मंगाते हैं उसे कहते हैं टारगेटेड पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन सिस्टम. सो ये जो सिस्टम है वहाँ से हम we can fortify the foods and provide the supply to the vulnerable groups. Now there are having some certain challenges for the implementing or addition of the nutrients or fortified nutrients in the food. So what are the challenges? So first challenge is the mass population, that most of there should be awareness among the people that we must consume the fortified nutrients to fulfill our daily requirement, that we call it as RDA, recommended daily allowances. Second, there should be the involvement of private as well as government organization for the fortification of the food, and the fortified food should be available to the mass population. So that are some challenges we should fulfill. If we fulfill that challenges, ultimately the vulnerable groups will fulfill their balanced diet, and ultimately the nutrition of the India and the world will be the fulfilled happily. Thank you.